Telecast for life.
Get up, this is a revolution, this is our time to rise. Look deep within your mind, look deep within.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know the name, you know the voice, you know exactly why I'm here. Just in case if you don't, I am a 24-year-old piece of gold, the messiah of the microphone, and the greatest sports recreational podcast in the world today, the Pod Father. And yes, I am still the Le Champion of this show, just like Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, Roddy Strong, and Adam Cole, baby. This title reign is hashtag forever undisputed. For life, brother. But you know I never do this alone. You know, he's my stargazing tag team partner. The Jimmy to my J, the Totem R, and the Stevie Ray to my Booker T. Ladies and gentlemen, he's the host of the award-winning Under the Radar, host and creator of Curveballs and Chair Shots, the first ever and 8-time Bullet Cast champion, the Canadian Destroyer, BT, Brandon Tanguma. BT, how you doing today on this fine Thursday afternoon?
You know, Phillip, I'm doing fantastic.
Really? That's great, man. You know, we got a lot of wrestling to talk, but we're just going to jump right into it. SmackDown recap. Goldberg comes out there to celebrate his new Blue Universal Championship win, and then Roman Reigns' music hits. Roman walks down that ramp, and he says, "I'm next." So, it will be Spear versus Spear, Spear versus Jackhammer, Big Dog versus one of the biggest attractions in WCW history, Roman Reigns versus Goldberg, WrestleMania 36 for the Universal Championship. Brandon, what are your overall thoughts about this?
Well, after Goldberg put on an amazing performance at Blood Money 5 against The Fiend, he comes out, gets booed, and then he asks simply who's next, and then Roman says that he's next. And apparently that's all it takes for someone to get a match at WrestleMania. A title match at WrestleMania at that. When everyone has to face each other in Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, man, you know, for a couple months there was this graphic floating around about an Elimination Chamber qualifying match. It was like Corbin, Bryan, Roman, Miz, and I think maybe Kofi or somebody that was in that, but that's completely scrapped. Like, everything we thought was happening has been scrapped. And you know what? I gotta credit my boy Sam Roberts. You know, I know he works for the company, but he predicted this, and this all came true. He said the Fiend may lose to Goldberg, and Goldberg would go on to face Roman, and then the Fiend could possibly go after Cena. And this all has happened.
I mean, I kind of said the exact same thing on Under the Radar a few weeks ago, but it's whatever, it's fine.
Hey man, it's okay.
And we all know I don't listen to Sam Roberts, so I didn't get his idea from him.
You know, maybe you have some inside scoops. You know.
I mean, we probably have like the same hairline, but that's about it. We're both short.
Wow. How are you gonna talk about my boy Sam like that?
Because I am team Pat McAfee all day. Sam Roberts disrespects the brand, and I am not here for that.
Hey man, how dare you? Pat McAfee just walked in here. Sam Roberts has been hustling for years for this opportunity, okay?
Pat McAfee is the greatest punter in the 2010s.
You know what? I'm not even going to argue that, because he probably is. We all know I don't watch the quote-unquote real sports. I'm all about that XFL, though. Exactly. All right, moving on from this, John Cena, big match. John returns home in Boston. SmackDown, he's hyped. He's talking about how WrestleMania is for the current stars and how he will step away for this year. And he salutes the fans, and then we hear the do-do. No lights, no gimmicks. The Fiend shows up behind Cena, points at that sign. Cena looks at him, nods his head, and salutes him with the cap. So we get the Fiend versus John Cena, WrestleMania 36 in Tampa Bay.
Well, after the Universal title match was set up with just a few words, we get John Cena comes out, cuts a heartfelt promo in his hometown. Everyone's getting behind him, and then he's like, "Oh, I'm not going to be at WrestleMania because it's for the current generation, and I'm not going to be here anymore, guys." Even though he damn knows that he's going to be there because he's going to wrestle at WrestleMania. And then after, spilling his heart out saying he's not going to wrestle, then the Fiend just points at the WrestleMania sign, and that's enough for him to go to WrestleMania. Makes perfect sense.
It does make perfect sense. This is a new evil being, a new nemesis amongst the WWE, and John Cena has been the one that's taken down these nemesises, I hope that's a word, Jesus Christ, for the past, 10 years. It was Hogan in the 80s, and then nobody was really doing this in the 90s because everybody was goddamn over. But, during the 2010s, Cena would take down the foes. And it's carrying on until the 2020s, apparently. I did like it, the no speaking, just point at the sign. It reminded me of WrestleMania 27. Hunter and Taker. Taker's out there, Hunter just walks up, looks at the sign, looks at him, and then it's on. I enjoy stuff like that, Brandon. I really do.
Well, you're alone on this one.
Wow. But overall, Cena versus The Fiend. I think The Fiend goes over and gives him credibility, builds him back up a little bit, because, I don't think we should talk about Blood Money in the Sand. That's just an aspect of The Fiend's career we're not going to talk about.
But it happened. It's canon. Everything that happens inside
No. We could talk about the win. We could talk about the championship victory, but, what happened, we just won't talk about it. It's erased from our mind. We're pretending like it never happened, because it didn't.
Just like Braun Strowman's green title belt, all the trophies and stuff that are given out. Like The Undertaker won that whatever trophy, and he doesn't even care about it.
The best in the world, Shane McMahon, we can talk about that, because that was the most positive thing that's ever happened in Saudi Arabia.
And the women's matches, because they're just...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. They're wonderful, yes. Speaking of wonderful, Matt Hardy has left WWE. No asking for his release. His contract expired. WWE took to their social medias and thanked Matt for everything he did for the company. And then on Being the Elite, Nick and Matt thought they were going home to see their families, but Matt gets a call and is like, hey, we gotta make another stop. And then this video emerges a few days ago of Matt and Nick hopping out of a car and say, what's going on, Matt? And then it's Matt Hardy, and I guess they're at the compound, and he's like, Bucks of Youth, I knew you'd come. So, nothing really official, but is Matt Hardy basically all elite, right?
Maybe, you never know. On the Monday where his contract was up, he did a video where he said that he's going to be watching everything. He's a free agent. Maybe he goes back to WWE. Maybe he goes to some other company. Maybe he goes to New Japan or NWA or AEW. It's all up in the air. This doesn't mean anything.
He did a video with the Bucks of Youth. It's basically confirmed, confirmed to Jace. No?
It's not confirmed. Nothing signed. There's no picture on Instagram saying that Matt Hardy is all elite.
Not yet. But I'm excited for it. Another thing I'm excited about, JBL, John Bradshaw Layfield, one of the longest WWE champions in SmackDown history. He is joining the 2020 class of the WWE Hall of Fame. From a cowboy tag team to being with the Acolytes to becoming a Southern New York stock executive WWE champion, a great commentator, one hell of a lariat. Congratulations, JBL. Well deserved.
As you know, my take on the WWE Hall of Fame, I don't have very high expectations. JBL can go right in, I don't really care. But if this was a real Hall of Fame, I probably wouldn't put him in.
Why not?
Look
at his contributions to the business. Why not?
What were exactly his contributions to the business? Is he really that great of a commentator? He's not really. He was a mid-card tag team at best.
The Acolytes were a mid-card tag team? Is that what you just said?
Yeah, I don't think that's a real hot take.
Wow. Look, man. When I started watching wrestling, it was past the Acolytes time. Hell, when I first started watching wrestling, JBL was the WWE champion, man. I got to see his evolution. He put Cena over at 21. He had great feud with Eddie Guerrero. He beat the Undertaker. All this other stuff that really put him in the upper echelon of great heels in SmackDown. Great heels in pro wrestling history. Love JBL. Love him to death. An amazing commentator. He's responsible for one of my favorite commentary lines. You know what that is, Brandon?
Shut up, Michael.
No. If you were going to build a sports entertainer from the ground up, he would look just like Randy Orton. Yes. Love JBL. Congratulations. Well-deserved, Bradshaw. You know, he's doing great things. He lives in Bermuda. He's giving back to his community. Amazing work by John Bradshaw Layfield. I'm very impressed. You know, high honor. Absolutely.
He's going to give a Hillbilly Jim speech. We're going to be there for like 3 hours.
Oh God, yeah. No, I don't think so. I would hope not. All right. Dark Side of the Ring, March 24th. It is returning with a 2-hour episode about the tragedy of the Chris Benoit murder-suicide story, narrated by Le Champion, Chris Jericho. I saw the trailer, and Jericho, you know, in the trailer, he says, "If you think I'm glorifying a murderer, turn this off right now." I mean, I love Dark Side of the Ring. I love the first season. I got to find out things about certain people I didn't really know about, like a Gino Hernandez, and you know, I knew a lot of the other stuff with like Montreal and then Fabulous Moolah and all that other stuff. But I'm really fascinated, man. Brandon, you covered this on Under the Radar. You want to tell us about the rest of the stories that will be covered on Dark Side of the Ring Season 2?
Well, Philip, if you told me this before we started recording, I could have pulled it up, and I could have had it readily available. But you're just going to spring it on me like this.
I mean, come on, man. You know, there's the Jimmy Snuka and his girlfriend story. There's Dr. Dave Schultz slapping the 2020 Reporter, where the guy was allegedly, big air quotes on this, deaf when he was. He didn't really even hit him in the ear. You know, so, come on, man. I thought you would have had this ready to go, man.
Well, I didn't know you were going to throw it to me. I mean, that's a big responsibility. So now I have to go to your boy Dave Meltzer's website, where I got it in the first place, to pull it up. And then, of course, there's just been so much news in the past few weeks or few days. So now I'm trying to scroll, and I might have gone past it already. But there's a lot of stuff going on in the world of pro wrestling, and I'm still going for it. I'm still searching. I think I went way past it.
I think one of the biggest ones is Owen Hart and how they got his wife to finally speak, and she's been silent for the better part of 21 years since Owen unfortunately passed away. And I think that's really the episode that a lot of people are looking forward to.
I found it.
Okay, you found it. Go ahead, man.
Okay, so now we got the murder of Dino Bravo. We got the Brawl for All tournament, which was a resounding success for the WWF. And then we got friend of the podcast, New Jack, which should be very interesting. And as you said, David Schultz smacking the hell out of the 2020 Reporter, John Stossel. The death of Jimmy Snuka's girlfriend. The inside story of the Road Warriors. Herb Abrams' attempt to build a pro wrestling empire. And I don't know if this is the final episode, but it's the last one on the list. The death of Owen Hart.
Yes. Which one are you looking most forward to, Brandon?
Well, for the most part, I know a lot of these stories, so I don't know how much new insight I will get. Herb Abrams' one is the one that sticks out that off the top of my head I don't really know what they're talking about, so I think I'm going to go with that one. And then the New Jack one, depending on how they do it, if New Jack is... I assume New Jack is with it, and it's going to be a crazy, insane story, because New Jack's a character, so probably that one as well.
Do you think he's going to talk about his relationship with Terry Runnels and her liking to be bled on? Maybe
they'll touch on it. I don't know, Philip.
You don't know. Another series that debuted is the stargazing series that you did all by yourself, man. You interviewed Starboy Charlie, referee Sparky Ballard, and wrestling personified Rick Luxury about, you know, Charlie's upbringing and his starting at 11 years old in the business and now him being 17. Just, Brandon, take us through what inspired you to do this.
Well, I'm taking a class and they told me I have to do something, so I was like, might as well just do it on wrestling because that's easy and I have stuff, so there you go. Very inspiring story.
Wow. I mean, take us behind the scenes of this, man. Like, what did you find interesting when you were doing these interviews?
Also, now this has just turned into an interview on me.
Hey,
I'm the interviewer, not the interviewee.
I interview somebody and they go on to be successful. You just answer the questions, man.
I mean, you know, I slid into the DMs, talk to Charlie, go to the gold mine, the APW train center, whatever the hell it's called now, because they're in a little bit of a flux. And then, you know, talk to him, see some of the new emerging wrestlers coming out of Pacifica, California. So watch out for them.
Wow. You know what, Brandon? Honestly, I enjoyed the series, man. I let you branch off and do your own thing, and I'm very proud. You know, the Sparky Ballard interview where you have this deep voice. I was like, oh, this is interesting. You know, you were trying to get your I don't know who's like, trying to get your low key on. You know, really deep voice, and I enjoyed it, man.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on with that.
It,
Technical difficulties, but it all worked out in the end.
it all worked out. What was your favorite interview?
Probably Rick, just because he's a character and he goes all over the place, and he's very long-winded. He barely he answers the question, but then he just kind of goes on and on. But there were some very interesting quotes that I wrote an article on it, which was this whole reason why I did this in the beginning, and hopefully it gets published. So whenever that comes out, maybe in the next few weeks, I'll let you guys know.
Wow. All right. Well, congratulations, Brandon. You know, because of what you've done, we are at 4 interviews already this year, and the goal is 20. I said we are going to achieve and crush, and we are very much on our way because we have 2 more interviews that we're doing next week. Yes. Very excited. Very, very excited. All right, Kayfabe Wrestling. Apparently, this is a new promotion being started by WWE Hall of Famer Lita, TNA Hall of Famer Gail Kim, and former WWE announcer and TNA announcer Christy Hemme. Alright, so Kayfabe Wrestling, the plan is that will be 100% women's wrestling, that is 50% storyline and 50% in-ring action. It will be an edgy, racy cinematic television series about female-led professional wrestling startup. And they have a Kickstarter project so they can get funds. A couple people they have behind the scenes already are Chavo Guerrero Jr. and Jimmy Jacobs.
Good for them.
You didn't know anything about this, did you?
Yes, I do know about it, Philip, because I follow the girls on the Instagram and they're posting stuff, so I do know, Philip, okay?
Hey, man. Hey,
I don't really know what to say about it.
Usually, man, when I talk about these things, you don't know it. You've never heard about it, you know? I have my pulse on the wrestling scene, Brandon. Okay? Hello?
Good for you.
Wow. Alright, inside of the ring, Gillberg retires. The parody of Goldberg in the 90s that won the light heavyweight championship. He wrestled his last match last night against James Ellsworth. I think he beat him for that intergender championship that Ellsworth carries around. Yeah, so one hell of a career for Gillberg. The baby sparklers and all. It was amazing. It really was. One hell of a run.
Goldberg should take notes.
Okay. Wow. Just burying Goldberg, yeah?
I mean, it was too easy. I had to take it.
I mean, look, my whole thing with this whole getting back to the whole Roman Goldberg thing, you know, like let's get really real, you know. Roman should obviously be like, man, this isn't your time anymore, it's our time. And Goldberg would be like, well, if you guys could draw, I wouldn't have to be here, you know? Like, let's get real like that. That'd be great.
Yeah, but that doesn't help out the current generation when Goldberg's burying everybody and then he leaves. And then all we have is the current generation that doesn't draw.
Well, look, man, if they drew, he wouldn't have to come back. Cena wouldn't have to come back. I mean,
well, if Vince were to protect the current stars he has instead of leaning on the old people, then maybe we'd be in a better situation. We're going to talk about Ricochet in a little bit, and I got my opinions on that, but...
I mean, we'll get to it. Alright, my homie Zicky Dice, he won the NWA Television Championship Tuesday night, beating Ricky Starks. The streak continues, man. It really continues. You come on the show, I interview you, you go on to do bigger and better things. Congratulations to the homie Zicky Dice. You know, his band Heart to Heart came out with their album, or came out with a couple singles from their album a few months ago, and then he wins the NWA television title. I'm so happy for him, man.
Good for him.
You didn't even see this, did you?
I saw it because he posted it on the Instagram, so I saw it. I didn't watch it.
Wow. Come on, Brandon. We gotta watch everything, man. We are
Did you watch the latest episode of Miz and Mrs., where Miz had a day named after him at his hometown, and Dolph Ziggler touched Maurice's boobs?
Hey, I don't have cable, so I'm gonna have to wait until that's on like the USA.com or something, or on YouTube somewhere. But I'll eventually watch it.
See, I watch other things, you know, more important things, like Miz and Mrs.
More important than NWA. Look, man, We have to watch everything, Brandon. We are wrestling journalists, okay?
I watch NXT. Did you watch NXT?
Of course I watch NXT.
The whole thing?
I have not watched the whole thing yet. I was getting ready for the show. I had to watch AEW Dynamite, which we will talk about today. But anyway, moving on. This day in wrestling, Ricky Steamboat had his WWE debut in 1985. Santino Marella wins the United States Championship on this day in 2012. Paul Bearer unfortunately dies on this day in 2013, which led to a very interesting wrinkle in the storyline, or not wrinkle, but added more substance to the storyline of Punk versus Taker for that year's WrestleMania. Fastlane 2017, which Goldberg beat Kevin Owens to become the Universal Champion the first time. So, three years later, still Universal Champion. Wow, what are the odds? Alright, we also have Samoa Joe winning the United States title on this day a year ago in 2019. And happy birthday to Jordynne Grace, the Knockouts champion of Impact Wrestling. She's 24 years old. I didn't realize we were born in the same year, man. I feel like I've wasted my life. Her and Chris Bay and Tessa Blanchard are all my age, and I'm just here in a room doing a podcast on a Logitech headset on Skype, and they're off wrestling for Impact. Yeah.
Well, happy birthday to my girl Mama Thickness, and Goldberg winning the Universal title. The more things change, the more they stay the same. And Paul Bearer, my boy Wade Keller has done multiple interviews with Paul Bearer, so if you would want to, I'd highly suggest you go and seek those out. Very interesting. He talks not only the Undertaker days, but his days before then. I don't want to mispronounce where he was from, but down in the South, he did some stuff down there.
So nothing about me wasting my life. Nothing about that at all.
I mean, I'm pretty much in the same boat, yet I'm 2 years older than them, so there you go. Could be worse.
There you go. Alright, fan mail, jack of all trades. Bucks, Hangman, and Omega put on a barn burner. What a tag match. Cody and MJF was good. Thought it would have been a little bit better, and Orange Cassidy is what I need in wrestling. He's obviously talking about the AEW Revolution pay-per-view. I did a recap with Jay from the Rudos podcast and his buddy Ralph. Yeah, please go check that out. We had a little bit of the bubbly. And it was really cool. It was really fun, man. His setup is ishing on ours, man. Big time. Big time.
It's okay. It's not, the tools you have. It's the
content you provide.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Brandon, what are your...
A good craftsman never blames his tools.
Oh, there you go, man. See, Brandon, this is why I keep you on this show for moments like this. What were your thoughts on Revolution for those people that didn't hear your recap on Under the Radar?
Well, if you didn't, you definitely should go and listen to it. But I had very high praise for the tag team match. I said it was probably the best tag team match I've ever seen. Maybe there have been some more athletic, high-paced, intense matches. Maybe there's been some that had better storylines or whatever, but I highly doubt that. I thought that this match had the perfect blend of athleticism and storytelling. The storytelling between Matt and Hangman is absolutely phenomenal. I agree with the emailer that Cody and MJF I thought was good, but it did disappoint a little bit. And the main event was fantastic, as well as Orange Cassidy and Pac. I had four-star matches on the show as a whole, even though I did kind of poo-poo on Cody and MJF. I still thought it was good. I give it 4 stars, but probably the least out of the other matches. So,
yeah, man, it was very good. That tag title match, I will praise Kenny Omega here. I'll do it. That was awesome, dude. It did go on. I didn't even feel like it hit 30 minutes by the time it would. By the time Justin Roberts said it, because it was just kept going and going and going. That tag title match was absolutely effing insane. Cody and MJF, it did slightly disappoint, but I don't know. Cody doesn't lose that often, so when he loses, it does mean something. So that does elevate MJF slightly. Yeah. So overall, it was a very good show, and Jericho's champagne. It is something we need to acquire, Brandon. It's very good.
It's not champagne. Sparkling wine.
Well, sparkling wine, I'm sorry, but it's very good. I will say that. Ladies and gentlemen.
I'd rather have some El Segundo Broken Skull IPA.
Look, you do that, I'll have a little bit of the bubbly. And maybe, we'll meet in the middle and have some of Rock's tequila that's dropping this month. Maybe we'll do that.
Stone Cold Steve Austin going to be on the 316 episode of Raw. So stay tuned for that.
He will, ladies and gentlemen, he will. It's Austin. It's Steve Austin Day. He has to be there. Alright, moving on. We have Robert Walker. Moxley's win was great. Nice direction by Tony Khan in AEW, but I will miss Le Champion, and his entrance was so good. Oh yeah, his entrance was very good, man. I loved it.
It was a very good entrance. The one thing about the match I didn't like is I wasn't a fan of the eye patch at the end. I didn't think it made too much sense. I mean, yes, I know the crowd kind of loved it, but I kind of wish just Moxley took it off at the beginning and just kind of, beat the hell out of Jericho, and then we go into the match. But that was my one qualm at the main event.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't know if he didn't have to take it off like right at the beginning of the match. Maybe just sooner into the match. I would say like maybe 2 or 3 minutes in, not like till towards the very end. Because I mean, Jericho, he was preparing for a one-eyed man. Moxley did cheat. Jericho should still have the championship. I'm not gonna lie here. I'm not gonna lie at all. I'll admit it.
But if you're wrestling, you wouldn't want to blind yourself if you're in this world championship match. Like, yes, you probably think you have enough to beat Jericho with one eye, but you should probably just take the eye patch off at the beginning just to make sure.
Yeah, I don't know. This guy has been wrestling as a lunatic fringe for the past 6 years. I don't know. All right, Alfie Lewis. Hey man, that Stargazing series was cool. Glad to see you guys highlighting local talent and promotions in your area. Much respect. Wow, Brandon. There you go. A babyface turn from the guy that you never responded to his email.
Well, maybe, if he wants to, he can email me at utrmailbag@gmail.com.
There you go.
Someone can finally, I can answer a question on my world-renowned show that some people listen to.
Are you shedding some tears, man? With the tear in your eye?
They're happy tears, so it's okay.
All right. Hootie Hoo 420.
Hootie Hoo!
Oh, Jesus. Mates, is AEW becoming like New Japan, where everyone on the roster is in a group or faction? That's a really great question. Is it? Are they doing that, Brandon?
Well, let's see. We got the Inner Circle, we got the Elite, we got Death Triangle, we got all the tag teams like the Inner Circle and Best Friends. That includes Orange Cassidy, so I can see where they're going. They did take away the Nightmare Collective, so that's a positive. But I can see where he's coming from, but it's not like New Japan, I would say, where pretty much everybody is in a big old 12-man faction. It's a little different.
That's possible. That's possibly. All right, and Brightest Day X, graphic designer for the BC, and he sent us a lot of them, so here we go. Is the Goldberg-Roman match the worst setup for a WWE title match at WrestleMania ever? I wouldn't say so, man. I think we've seen worse title matches at WrestleMania. It'll be fine. I don't think it's going to be long like Roman has long matches at Mania. I think it'll be like 5 or 7 minutes tops.
Well, I mean, I'm trying to go back through my Rolodex of title matches and trying to think of the builds. I couldn't think of one really off the top of my head. I mean, WrestleMania 27 with Cena and Miz, where basically the Miz isn't even really involved in the feud. That one was pretty bad as well. But, I mean, as I kind of said earlier, it is stupid that all you have to say is, I'm next, and that's good enough to get a title match.
Hey, man, it's a once in a lifetime. Yeah.
Until they run it back next year.
No, this isn't Cena Rock, Yeah.
This is really once in a lifetime.
Absolutely, yes. All right, is Moxley finally starting to live up to the hype that he's the second coming of Stone Cold, or should we give it more time before we take those comparisons or make those comparisons? I'm not exactly sure, Brandon. I think Austin's your favorite of all time. Why don't you give that take?
I don't know if I would give Moxley saying that he's just like, or the next Stone Cold. I know it's an easier comparison, but I would maybe say Adam Page, I think, is on a nice trajectory. Yes, he is drinking all the beer and kicking ass, so that is I think that's a much better comparison to make. But Moxley, I think he has definitely hit his stride, and as I said on Under the Radar, when he got into the ring and the crowd was going crazy for him at the beginning of the match, I had just had a feeling that, maybe it is time to put the title on him, and he is kind of clicking. And on AEW, on Dynamite this week, I think good first step. Moxley as the top babyface. I'm liking it right now.
There you go. There you go. All right. I know most of us are still somewhat apprehensive about Cody's tattoo, but Brian Pillman Jr. explained that Cody did it to symbolize that his neck is on the line with AEW, his career, etc., and he wants everyone to see that he's not afraid to show it. Thoughts? Brandon, what are your thoughts on Cody Rhodes' neck tattoo?
Well, I kind of forgot to talk about it on my recap, but I'm not a fan of the placement. The tattoo, I can understand, he has Dream for his dad, and then he has the Nightmare Family, which is like, his thing. But I just don't understand why you put it on the neck. He says, oh, I don't want it to hide it, but yet you have it on the neck where you wear a lot of suits, and it's pretty much covered, just kind of poking out a little bit. So why don't you just, like, if you didn't want to hide it, just put it on your forehead, or like on your cheek, or something like Gucci Mane. But I would have put it like, on his shoulder, or on his arm, or on his rib, or somewhere kind of on the lower body, because it is a little bit distracting. Especially since he doesn't have like a bunch of tattoos like CM Punk or Corey Graves, where they'll just kind of mix together and you don't really notice a tattoo.
Yeah, man. Brandy Rhodes, she's not a fan of the tattoo. The placement is iffy. Maybe the back of the neck, that would have been okay, or the upper back, something like that, or in the swell of the back. I don't know, but Cody's a grown man. He'll do what he wants. So there's nothing we can really say. Yeah.
I mean, I'm thinking maybe when I go to Las Vegas for Double or Nothing, that's unless the coronavirus doesn't shut everything down. Maybe I'll get a tattoo there. Who knows?
Don't you already have a tattoo?
Yes, I do already have a tattoo, Phillip.
Are we getting bullet cast tattoos?
Mm.
Wow. Maybe I'll just get the bullet cast tattoo on my neck. I don't know. We'll see.
You won't.
I really won't. Dude, I don't think I can get a tattoo at all. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, people.
Oh, you think it's gonna hurt?
It's a whole thing. I'm pretty sure it might hurt, man. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, you need a binky?
Look, man. Don't be making fun of me, man. Last one. Speaking of tattoos, what the hell happened to Jack Gallagher? Dude looks like he was paroled and doing some time in the USO penitentiary with all that new ink he has now. He looks like a poor man's Conor McGregor. I'll just leave it at that. I will just leave it at that.
I'm a bigger fan of Jack Gallagher's tattoo than I am of Cody's, and I'll leave it at that.
Wow, how you gonna disrespect my boy Cody like that, dude?
I mean, technically the tattoo is alright, I guess, but just the placement and just how poppy it is. Shut up, Poppy. Great artist. She sings for NXT all the time.
Okay. Alright.
Going off a little bit of a tangent there.
No, that's fine. Let's get into the Raw recap. So, Drew McIntyre lays out Brock Lesnar with 3 Claymore kicks. Brock selling his ass off for Drew. What a segment. Congratulations. Could Drew McIntyre beat Lesnar for the title?
I think Drew McIntyre will beat Lesnar for the title. And the promo itself by Paul Heyman and everybody, it was good. I mean, just kind of simple stuff. And then McIntyre kicking him. It was all simple stuff. A few weeks ago, I was pretty high on McIntyre. I think I've cooled off on him a little bit. But I still think you still ride the wave. So you get it, ride the wave, because we're on a pirate-themed WrestleMania. I'm just on fire right now. Put the title on McIntyre.
I do get it. Yeah, I mean it's gonna be very interesting, but then people have gotten 1 up on Lesnar before, or in this case 3 up on Lesnar, but then they've come to succumb to the F5. Yeah.
I could see that he goes like 5-10 minutes, and that's a win in itself because everyone just gets buried in 2 minutes, like Ricochet.
Ricochet got buried in 20 seconds. We're gonna talk about that. Randy Orton, he loves Edge, guys. Oh god, this was so good. This is why he's still one of the best that's ever done this, man.
Breaking news, since we've been talking about tattoos all day. Rhea Ripley's getting another leg tattoo.
Oh, okay. Shout out Rhea. Do your thing, little boo-boo. Alright. Anyway, back to what I was saying. So, Beth Phoenix comes out there to talk about the heinous act that Randy Orton committed against her husband. And then Randy comes out there and he says he did that to Edge because he was trying to help him. You know, he knew that Edge would possibly end up in a wheelchair or worse if he kept going. So what Randy did was to benefit Edge so that Beth could have a husband, so that she could have a father to her children, you know? Randy Orton loves Edge more than Beth Phoenix. Randy Orton loves Edge's little girls more than Beth Phoenix. Randy was doing us a favor, ladies and gentlemen. God, this was so good. Randy Orton made sure that Lyric and Ruby would have a father, while Beth Phoenix goaded Edge into coming back. When Randy realized it wasn't a one-off, he knew what he had to do. You may think it was heinous and disrespectful, but he was just looking out for his friend, for somebody that he considers a brother. God, this was good.
Well, I thought it was good as well. I thought Randy Orton's delivery, his promo, it was great. Beth Phoenix, on the other hand, it looks like her and Natalya went to the same acting school. Just leave it at that. And I didn't like how she was like crying about Randy, saying that it's her fault. Like, shouldn't Beth realize that it's all BS and he's being a heel? But all said and done, the promo work I thought was good, and But then Beth stands up to him at the end, which after she cried and everything, it didn't make too much sense until after whatever. But Beth gets laid out. She was in NXT, so still selling that. Not because she was hurt, but because she's, taking a leave of absence because she has to deal with some things. But overall, once again, I'm critical of Randy when he's not doing good stuff, which is more often than not. But he's been on a good roll, I will say.
See, this is the 5th week in a row. I'm proud of you, Brandon. You finally realized that Randy Orton, if you were going to build a sports entertainer from the ground up, he would look just like him. I'm proud of you, man.
Well, we'll see where I am in 3 months after WrestleMania.
You'll still be on this high of Randy Orton, and it'll be great. It'll be phenomenal. It'll be amazing. All right, the Raw Tag Team Championships were on the line, and they bring the swag like nobody can. The Street Profits win their first piece of tag team silverware on the main roster as they defeat Seth Rollins and his buddy Murphy. Why are they gonna do this to my homie Murphy, bro?
A lot of tears shed on the Bullet Cast this episode, but the match was built as now or never, so if the Street Profits didn't win, they would never get a chance at the titles ever again, not just for Murphy and Seth Rollins, anybody. So it kind of did telegraph that something was going to happen. KO did get involved. I kind of wish that the Street Profits just kind of won it on their own, because they haven't really been built up that much. So give him a little bit of credibility. You can pin Murphy. What is he really going to be doing? It's all about Seth Rollins. And yes, this builds towards Seth and KO at WrestleMania at some point, but the tag match itself was okay. I wish it would have gone a little bit longer. They could have told a better story and not had Kevin Owens get too directly involved if he was going to get involved at all.
Yeah, well, it was a happening. Congratulations, I guess.
I think it would have been better if KO would have got rid of the AOP and the cronies at ringside, if instead of giving Seth a stunner. I think that would have been a better way to get KO involved.
It's whatever. So I guess they're having a match at WrestleMania.
That's what it looks like, and maybe AOP faces the Street Profits. Maybe they get the titles back. I don't know, but as of this moment, I was really high on this KO Seth a few weeks ago after Royal Rumble, but now it's okay, I'm getting a little tired of this right now.
Yeah, they just need to have their match and let it be the end of it, All right, what else happened on Raw? Riddick Moss defeats Ricochet for the 24/7 championship. Man, when Rey Mysterio lost to Brock, he went off and won the United States Championship. Ricochet couldn't even win the 24/7 title. Go ahead, talk.
Well, Philip, I don't think this is a laughing matter. I said it last week. I think Ricochet should definitely let his contract run out and just leave WWE and not look back, because yes, Ricochet might not be the greatest talk in the world, but God damn it, he's a great wrestler, and he's charismatic and all this other good fun stuff. I feel as though he's definitely being underutilized, and it's one thing to lose to Brock. Everybody lose to Brock, I'm fine with that. But then when you lose to Riddick Moss for the 24/7 championship, like, I know we can't cuss, but like, what the hell is going on right now? Ricochet, let it ride, brother. Stay strong and let your contract run out. Hopefully it's not in like 2 years, or else, I'm sorry, but hopefully it's by the end of the year and you can leave to greener pastures.
I mean, maybe Ricochet just never had it,
I've seen Ricochet have it.
Maybe he doesn't have ruthless aggression. Maybe he just doesn't have that, man. Riddick Moss, I think he has that, I'm gonna be honest with you. No. I haven't been the biggest fan of this 24/7 championship. I mean, I got to see Carmelo win it live. That was a great moment, but Riddick Moss, I could see him eventually having it. He has a lowercase I right now. He doesn't have the full capital IT. You know what I mean? But he has a little something.
Ricochet cannot win a championship that Riddick Moss, Carmella, Kelly, and Santa Claus have been able to win.
Kelly, she's been on the show. Go check out that interview. Yeah, man, he couldn't. I'm sorry, he just couldn't. I mean, if you look at the line of 24/7 champions, I mean, what, EC3, R-Truth, Carmella, Kelly, Gerald Briscoe, Candice Michelle, Alundra Blaze. Look at all these people, man. Amazing talent.
And there's Riddick Moss.
Amazing talents. Riddick Moss, he could be on the rise. Ricochet, he doesn't have it. I'm sorry. He doesn't. Maybe he should have stayed in NXT so Trips could protect him. But, he wanted to go be a big boy on the main roster. So, look what happened. Yeah. Aleister Black's doing fine. They went up together. Aleister Black's alright. It's okay to lose to the Phenomenal One. It's okay to take an L to AJ. That's fine. Speaking of that, let's talk about that right now, Aleister Black, he's scheduled to face AJ Styles, but then he has to go through a little gauntlet, so to speak. Defeats Carl Anderson, then defeats Luke Gallows via DQ. But, Gallows and Anderson beat up Aleister Black enough to where AJ hits the phenomenal forearm and pins him like The Undertaker.
Well, WWE advertised that it was going to be Aleister Black versus AJ Styles, so obviously WWE didn't read the fine print, and then they give the bait and switch of having Aleister Black having to face Gallows and Anderson in back-to-back matches, and then he loses to AJ Styles, so another bait and switch by WWE. They're prone to doing that from time to time. And then the match itself, I mean, it was okay, I guess, and then more storyline build for AJ versus Taker. I was really looking forward to this match, and then of course WWE has to pull the rug out from under us.
It was great. It was phenomenal. Like, AJ Styles, the winner of this match, it was very good.
I don't know if I'd say very good.
It was good. Anything AJ does is phenomenal, because that's what he is. It just makes sense. Liv Morgan defeats Ruby Riott with Sarah Logan as a special guest referee. Not gonna lie, I forgot the Riott Squad was even a thing. Liv Morgan, she's the only good thing.
How dare you? They ran roughshod over Raw for like 6 months.
She's the only good thing that ever came out of the Riott Squad, and be honest with you, Liv Morgan, you're A-okay with me. Yep.
She's great on Total Divas, by the way. She should be on the cast.
Oh my god, I would love that. She should be on this cast. No? No? Hello? Hello?
Phillip, we do not sexualize these women athletes.
I said she should be on this cast. We're the Bullet Cast. We're a podcast. She should come on, do an interview. Dude, like, come on. Get your mind out of the gutter, Yeah. Alright, Shayna Baszler defeats Kairi Sane.
So you're trying to introduce Shayna Baszler as this tough badass and a killer, but yet she goes like 12 minutes with Kairi Sane, who has been devalued to some. Yes, she is the women's tag team champion, but you've had Aleister Black, Eric Rowan, and whoever have squash matches for like 7 months, and yet you can't give Shayna Baszler some two schmucks for her to kill in like 10 seconds.
Dude, honestly, I forgot that the women's tag team titles were even a thing. To be honest with you. Yeah, man. Look, this is something that has happened, and yeah. Honestly, I felt like her first singles match should have been in WrestleMania. That's just my personal opinion. But hey, what are you gonna do?
And you know how much I love Becky. Give me that Becky. You know, I've been there since before day one, and yet I'm starting to like her less and less as the weeks go on. She comes out in whatever the hell that mink coat was, or faux mink coat, and then she's wearing the crown, and she's like, "Oh, you know, Shane, I could beat you up if I had my wrestling shoes on or whatever." And it was like, Becky, just shut up. And then she's wearing the gangsta whatever sunglasses again. It's like, you know, I love Becky, but it's she's not coming across very very good these last few weeks.
Eh. You know, maybe she's run her course. You know, maybe she's See, if Charlotte Flair won the title that night and just kept it all this time, we wouldn't be bored. We'd be very excited. But no, I'm sorry. Maybe Becky never really had it to begin with. Maybe she just had hyped it. You know, hyped it doesn't last. It lasts. Yeah. That's why Randy Orton's been on top for so long, because he's always had it. Even in OVW, man, he had it. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know what you mean.
See, I understand when guys have it. I can see it, you know? Orton was the coal that was squeezed into a diamond by Hunter. You know?
So you're insinuating that Randy Orton was a piece of coal and he wasn't that good to begin with. It's all Triple H's.
No, that was the line in the promo when Evolution was first introduced. I'm just reciting a line from a promo that happened 16, 17 years ago. That's all I'm doing. We always knew Randy was good. You just look at him. You knew the kid was going to be a star. Yep.
Apparently Randy Orton, big fan of Dynamite, because he tweeted out a video of him RKOing Jake the Snake Roberts.
Or maybe he was just scrolling through his camera roll and he found that. You know? You never know.
Maybe. Who knows?
You never know. Speaking of... Oh, wait, no. We can't go there yet. Rey Mysterio and Humberto Carrillo defeat Andrade and Angel Garza.
Good for them. It was a good match. We keep seeing these... Well, I guess not four, because Andrade hasn't been here for a while, but this cluster of Latino men wrestle, and it's been very, very good. And not on the list, Phillip. I can't believe you didn't talk about this, but we finally got to see what was inside Eric Rowan's cage.
I don't care about that. Ladies and gentlemen, All Elite Wrestling Dynamite!
It was a spider. It's like a robotic spider, Phillip.
All Elite Wrestling Dynamite happened this past Wednesday. The Moxley era is in full effect as he comes out first to talk to the people, and Chris Jericho comes out there and he says, "Do you really think I need a belt to be Le Champion?" And then, they go back and forth, and this, sets up what we're going to see later on in the night of Moxley and Allen going up against Jericho and Sammy Guevara of the Inner Circle. Thoughts on the promo?
I thought it was a good opening promo by Moxley, very similar to what he did at the end of Revolution. It was a very WWE-esque start to the show because it's right after a pay-per-view, new champion, all this stuff. But I didn't mind it. I've been asking for more talking segments like this, and they delivered. And I thought Jericho was great. I thought everything, the crowd was hot, Moxley was over. Great start to the show.
It was very, very good. Alright, we have SU and Colt Cabana defeat the Dark Order. Yeah.
It was a match. Colt Cabana over huge, and everyone was waiting for something to happen, and then nothing happened. No result.
Yep, it happened. That's, I guess. Big Swole defeated Leva Bates. Nobody got hurt. That's all we could ask for.
Yeah, damn right.
Yep. Alright, the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes. He comes out to talk to the people, while Dynamite is quote-unquote off the air during commercial break. And as it comes back on, he's talking about his loss to MJF, and he says, he'll be okay with it professionally if MJF just comes out there and says he beat him fair and square. And then Jake the Snake Roberts, the legend, comes down to the ring and asks Cody to stop complaining, almost said the B word. itching and complaining and moaning and all this other stuff, but he says he has somebody that's going to come and silence Cody. So, thoughts on the promo? Jake Roberts, he can still do this very damn well, you know. He looks better now than when he was on Beyond the Mat. And by the way, go check out Beyond the Mat. It's now on Netflix. Still a great documentary. And could we see Brody Lee possibly be the one to silence Cody Rhodes?
I don't know if it's Brody Lee. It could be Lance Archer. Lance Archer was supposed to be on this week's AEW Dynamite. They pulled the WWE by advertising something they did not deliver. But it could be either one of those two men. It could be somebody else. It could be a debuting wrestler. It could be someone who's already on the roster. But really good promo both by Cody and then Jake coming out as a good surprise. His promo was really good as well. And this is just something that WWE does, or that AEW does so much better than WWE, where they bring in the legends, and they bring the legends in to put over the younger talent. And then not only that is they treat like the older legends, like Jake the Snake or whatever, DDP and Arn Anderson, to, you know, they're not devalued, they're not made fun of, they're not put in these weird situations like they are in WWE where there were, you know, like they're held up in high regard. They're legends. We need to take care of them and praise them, but WWE just doesn't do that for some reason.
Are you saying that WWE doesn't have legends put over younger talent?
Well, I mean, we are in the era of Undertaker.
No, hold on. If Roman Reigns beats Goldberg at WrestleMania, will Goldberg have not put over a younger talent?
Yeah, I mean, but Roman should have already not have to be put over, or, you know, he should already be in the position where he doesn't need that rub.
I'm just saying, well, technically he would have put him over.
Technically speaking, but let's be honest, even if he does put him over, it doesn't mean it's going to be success.
I mean, back to Dynamite, though. You have nothing else to say about this segment?
No, but you didn't put it on the script, but that MJF promo was hot fire.
Yes, Maxwell Jaundice Friedman, as he's known on the Rudos Bulletcast collab AEW Revolution recap. Yeah, man, it was good. MJF, he's a great talker. You know, there's a video of him flipping off a 7-year-old kid at a signing Revolution weekend. Yeah, man, the guy's a great heel. Love it. Love it to death. Fastest rising star in pro wrestling today.
As the GOAT Michael Jordan said, F them kids.
Okay, that's I guess that's how you gotta do it. All right, Pac defeats Sexy Chucky T, and you know, this leads to the Lucha Bros coming out there, and then Pac announces his alliance with the Lucha Bros as the Triangle of Death.
Good match between Pac and Chucky T. Orange Cassidy gets involved and everything like that. Orange, still completely over. It's amazing. And then the Triangle of Death with Pac and the Lucha Bros. I think it's a really good combination. The Lucha Bros, you know, the great wrestlers, they can get over with their intensity, but Pac can be there to, you know, speak the English for them, get those promos out of them, and I think it is a good mix, and obviously we're going to get the best friends at Orange Cassidy against them in some form or fashion in the next coming weeks. Maybe even at Double or Nothing, who knows?
Oh my god, that'd be great. Alright, the Inner Circle consisting of Le Champion, Chris Jericho, and Sammy Guevara. They defeat Darby Allin, and technically Jon Moxley. But Jon Moxley was attacked by Santana Ortiz and the Big Hurt, Jake Hager, before he could make it to the ring. So Allin was on his own. He goes for a suicide dive, and the Judas Effect catches Allin flush on the noggin, and that leads to his defeat. And then, you know, Cody comes out there, Matt Jackson, a whole bunch of stuff. I think. Oh wait, no, that's not what led to this, is it?
No, it is not.
No, it is not. Got a little confused there.
Moxley comes out, and then he beats everybody up, and then he gets beat up, and he gets put through a table, Shield style, off the ramp.
Yes, you know, Jim Ross said, they can't do that. Yeah. Oh, no, Hager defeated QT Marshall, that's right. That's right.
That is right.
Yes, and then it led to Dustin coming out there, and then Cody and Matt Jackson, and then, you know, Hangman Page doing cowboy-ish, protecting his beer, buckshot lariat to Hager, flipping off Matt and collecting beers from the fans.
Fantastic, as I said. I'm loving what Hangman Page is doing right now. He's drinking beer, flipping people off. It's very similar to what Stone Cold was doing, but I think it is different enough, and I'm still intrigued of what the story they're telling. As I said on my recap, another thing that made the match so great at Revolution is this wasn't a blow-up. This wasn't the last match. This was just a chapter. This was like the middle of the book. So we still have more chapters to go, and it can get even better. And I'm excited to see what happens. Going back to the main event segment, very luckily for the Inner Circle that Jon Moxley just happens to walk down right in front to where they were sitting. I mean, what are the odds?
You never know the odds in professional wrestling. Maybe if you have betting odds, I don't know. But were you excited by this episode of Dynamite, Brandon?
I thought this was a great first episode post pay-per-view. The show last week probably was a better show in a bubble just because the wrestling was so great, but coming out of a pay-per-view, they told a lot of good stories, still continuing stories from Revolution and continuing and starting up new ones. And I am actually doing a collab with my friend on Saturday with Curveballs and Chair Shots, and he doesn't watch wrestling. I used to watch wrestling with him, years ago, but I told him to watch this episode, so I'm going to get I sound like my voice when I interviewed Sparky Ballard, so we're going to get his thoughts on it. So I think this is a really good episode to kind of show people who don't watch wrestling or aren't really into AEW, because it's kind of a nice, easy, digestible thing where there's a lot of, beginning of stories, and it's easy to understand.
Yes. It's something that's not very easy to understand? How the hell is Elimination Chamber this Sunday? Ladies and gentlemen, it is this Sunday. Yeah. Alright, Intercontinental Championship. Braun Strowman defends against Shinsuke Nakamura, Cesaro, and Sami Zayn. I guess Braun wins.
Well, first, Philip, are you going to put the title on the line? I'm going to choke it away like I did last week?
Oh, no, yeah, this is not going on the line for this. I'm sorry. I had a last-minute change of heart the day of the show, and I put it on the line, and I successfully retained. As I do. But yeah, I'm not doing it for this one. I'm sorry. No.
You sure you don't want to get like 5 other people we can defend it like in an Elimination Chamber pick match?
That would be great, but no, I'm sorry.
Anyways, I'll go with Braun Strowman, because why the hell not? Just bury these 3 great wrestlers.
Absolutely. Alright, the Raw Tag Team Championships, the Street Profits going up against Seth Rollins and Buddy Murphy.
No, it's his Buddy Murphy.
His Buddy Murphy.
There we go, Philip. I'll go with the Street Profits to retain. As I said, I think we're on the crash course for Seth and KO at WrestleMania. Who knows if KO gets involved again, but hopefully this is where they have a long form match. They go 10-12 minutes, and they pin Murphy and put the Street Profits over.
I can see them doing a quick bait and switch title run, so I will go with Rollins and his Buddy Murphy. Yeah. Alright, also the phenomenal AJ Styles is going up against Aleister Black in a no disqualification match. Oh, how fun is that? I have the phenomenal AJ Styles getting a real decisive win over Aleister Black. I think this will be a great showing by these guys.
I don't know what they're gonna do. I think the Undertaker will be lurking. Maybe he won't make an appearance, but maybe we'll hear his massive gong, and then Aleister Black hits a black mass with the distracted AJ Styles and gets a dub.
Wow, yeah, there you go. You could do that. You could. Alright, the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, Miz and Morrison defend against the New Day, Heavy Machinery, Robert Roode, Dolph Ziggler, and the Usos inside a Tag Team Elimination Chamber. I have Miz and Morrison successfully retaining their titles.
As much as I want my boy Otis and Take to get the dub in this one, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Miz and John Morrison.
Yes, it will. Alright, the United States Championship, Andrade Cien Almas goes up against Roberto Carrillo. I have Andrade retaining the U.S. title.
We've had Carrillo in this spot for seemingly forever having these matches. I don't know. I'm not really certain on this, but I'll go with Carrillo, have him win, and maybe we'll have like a big old 4-way Mexican match at WrestleMania with these two and then Garza and Rey Mysterio.
Wow. This is a big old 4-way Mexican match.
For the United States Championship.
That's great. You know, maybe they can get the AAA championship involved too. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it is a women's elimination chamber match. Natalya, Liv Morgan, Shayna Baszler, Asuka, Ruby Riott, and Sarah Logan. Winner becomes number one contender for the Raw Women's title at WrestleMania. Oh my god, I wonder who's going to win! Shayna Baszler's winning, guys. We all know this.
Shayna chokes out everybody.
That would be great. That would be awesome. Alright, Superstar Spotlight. Who do you got? Who do you got? Who do you got?
I will go with my boy Orange Cassidy. He showed it. I've been beating the drum for so long that he can actually wrestle, and by God, he proved me right on Revolution.
No, you're absolutely right, man. He really did, and I'm incredibly proud of Orange Cassidy for what he did. I think I'll go John Moxley, man. Just the crowd being so behind him at Revolution, you felt like it was absolutely great. It really had the big match, big fight feel. Kudos to him for getting the job done and becoming the second AEW champion. So that was great. Alright, our promo pick of the week, Cody Rhodes, AEW Dynamite, November 6th, 2019. This was 3 days before Full Gear when he was going up against Chris Jericho for the AEW Championship. It was here he announced that if he does not beat Jericho, he will never challenge for the title again. This was a really good promo, man. I think this was the equivalent of his Hard Times promo. It really was. We talked about how Jericho berates his current lot of performance, his current generation, but Cody talks about how Jericho needs this current generation to survive, They talked about how they had similar upbringings, how their fathers were both famous in their realms of profession. But the real thing that really got me, he said, Jericho, the Elite are coming for the Inner Circle, and when we do, it will be a match beyond. At Revolution, they said, coming up in a few weeks, the Match Beyond, which is another name for War Games, the Blood and Guts episode of AEW.
War Games!
Yep, that's what's going to happen. So, was Cody all those months ago foreshadowing that we're going to get Inner Circle versus the Elite inside of the Match Beyond?
Oh my God. A wrestling promotion planning ahead and planting seeds for something that's going to come on later down the line. What a magnificent concept, Phillip. Storytelling, long-form storytelling. Who knew wrestling could do this?
I've never seen this before. This is great. This is amazing. I've never seen this before. I'm excited.
But I mean, they're a blood and guts promotion, so that's all they're good for anyway. So.
Wow. Anyway, so what are your thoughts on the overall promo and then that concept of what I just talked about?
Fantastic promo. Probably one of, if not the best promo cut on Dynamite thus far. Cody was phenomenal. I mean, I was kind of hoping we were going to get that promo from him during MJF for last week, leading up to it. We didn't really get that, but I think they did enough to really build the story that they needed. Maybe if he did do that, maybe the crowd would have been a little bit hotter and the match would have been a little bit better at Revolution. But overall, really good promo. And I'm still wondering, what are they doing with this title situation? Because obviously they had some sort of plan. Because I think in the end, Cody will be a champion in AEW. I'm just sitting back and waiting for when that moment happens.
I mean, they've talked about introducing a secondary title. He could be the first champion of that.
Yeah, but it's not the world title.
I mean, it's wrestling. They'll figure something out.
I think in the end, MJF gets that title and something's going down.
And then, Cody takes it off of him.
Probably.
I said that a few weeks ago.
Well, you're a smart man.
I know. TK, give me the damn book. All right, Brandon, tell us about our match pick of the week.
Well, our match pick of the week, I think this might be the first ever match we've ever done from Chikara. Maybe we've done one more before, but we have the Fire Ant taking on the Silver Ant. And if you were paying attention during the Revolution match with Orange Cassidy and Pac, Excalibur dropped the brilliant line that Orange Cassidy is showing tenacity or whatever, like a Fire Ant, and that's because Orange Cassidy, shocker, kayfabe, is Fire Ant, so you get to see Orange Cassidy in a more traditional wrestling role. It's not the best match in the world, I will be honest, but even in this match, you can see Orange Cassidy or Fire Ant having really good selling abilities and getting the crowd behind him.
Yeah, this was I'll be honest with you. This is the first ever full Chikara match I've ever watched. I've seen highlights from Chikara, but I've never actually watched an entire match. So, kudos to Orange Cassidy, aka Fire Ant. This was good.
See, I'm out here broadening your wrestling horizon, Philip.
I mean, I knew Chikara was a thing, you know? Like, it's not really that broad, you know? You know?
Maybe next week we'll have a Kaiju Big Battle match pick.
Yeah, we're not doing that. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, follow us on Twitter at Bulletcast, Instagram The Bulletcast, YouTube channel The Bulletcast, email us bulletcast2 as in the number 2 sweet swet at gmail.com, 99.9 FM KW in Watsonville every Friday night from 9 p.m. to 10 p.m. Stitcher, TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Spotify, Patreon. We're all over the damn place. Next week, big interviews that we're doing. A former WWE superstar and a current NWA wrestler. You don't want to miss it. All Pro Wrestling, California's premier independent, returns with its first show of the year, APW Blueprints. You don't want to miss it. We are going to have a new APW Universal Champion crowned in a Fatal 4-Way match. And the Red Snapper, Steven Tresario, in a Lucky 7 match. He is defending his APW Junior Heavyweight Championship. One of the people in that match is Starboy Charlie. You don't want to miss it. Alright, Brandon, I will talk to you next week. And yes, we will do a recap of Elimination Chamber, because why the hell not?
When your face is in the dirt, you'll know your death is what I seek.
This has been the Bulletcast. Thank you for listening.